In Hollywood, muscle isn't just a matter of appearance, it's a statement, a declaration of confidence, discipline, and sometimes rebellion. For these men, strength was never only skin deep. Whether they've proudly come out or kept things quiet, their presence is magnetic, their bodies sculpted, and their influence undeniable. This is a tribute to 30 of the most captivating, most muscular gay men in Hollywood. Let's begin. He's the kind of man who doesn't just enter a scene, he fills it. With a voice that rumbles like thunder and a body carved by years of dedication, Luke Evans brings an almost regal energy to every role he plays. From the commanding presence of Gaston to the tortured intensity of Dracula, his characters are layered with power, confidence, and charisma. But what truly sets Luke apart is his refusal to hide. In an industry that often asks leading men to stay quiet, Luke has always lived out loud. He didn't come out after fame, he brought his truth along for the ride. And in doing so, he shattered outdated ideas of masculinity and queerness. Luke isn't just another handsome face with action star muscles. He's a symbol of strength wrapped in elegance. A man who shows the world that being gay and being powerful are not opposites, they're inseparable. At first glance, Colton Haynes looks like the kind of guy who was born to be famous. Model perfect features, a jawline that could cut glass, abs like a comic book hero. But behind the cover boy looks is a story that runs deeper, one of fear, pressure, and finally, freedom. He started out on runways and magazine covers, but his breakout roles in Teen Wolf and Arrow proved he wasn't just another pretty face, he was a performer with presence. Still, behind the scenes, Colton was fighting to breathe under the weight of secrecy. When he came out, it wasn't some publicity stunt, it was a sigh of relief felt by thousands. Suddenly, the guy with the perfect body had something even rarer: honesty. And that's what made him unforgettable. Because anyone can have abs, but not everyone has the courage to be seen. Matt Bomer is the kind of man who could stop traffic with a glance. Polished, poised, almost impossibly handsome. But beneath the Hollywood perfection lies a quiet storm, a man of discipline, depth, and extraordinary integrity. He rose to fame as the effortlessly cool Neil Caffrey in White Collar, wearing three-piece suits like armor and seducing audiences with a smile. Later, in Magic Mike, he bared more than skin. He revealed control, confidence, and total commitment. But Matt's most powerful move wasn't on screen. It was his decision to come out at the peak of his rising career, to risk everything in favor of truth. And instead of losing roles, he gained something greater: respect. Matt Bomer didn't just redefine what a leading man looks like, he redefined what one stands for. Russell Tovey isn't your typical Hollywood heartthrob. He's better. With a strong jaw, broad shoulders, and a voice laced with understated charm, Russell exudes quiet strength. He built his reputation through grounded, authentic roles, from Looking to Years and Years, where his presence felt real, relatable, and raw. He doesn't play the superhero or the action star. He plays something more powerful: truth. Openly gay, he never once tried to soften who he was for the camera. Russell's physicality isn't loud, it's anchored. His build reflects a man who knows who he is, where he stands, and why it matters. He's not here to flex, he's here to represent. And in doing so, he's become one of the most quietly influential men in modern entertainment. Jonathan Bennett has the kind of smile that lights up a room, and a body that reminds you he's more than just a pretty face. He broke through in Mean Girls as the charming high school crush, but as he matured, so did his presence. Off-screen, he's bulked up, shaped his frame, and taken ownership of his identity. Jonathan didn't wait for Hollywood to give him permission to be proud. He created space for himself and for others. As an openly gay actor, host, and advocate, he balances charisma and courage like a pro. His body might turn heads, but it's his unapologetic joy, confidence, and authenticity that make him magnetic. Jonathan's not just aging well, he's evolving into a symbol of gay masculinity that's strong, stylish, and totally unstoppable. Cheyenne Jackson is what you get when raw talent meets raw muscle. Towering, handsome, and with a jawline built for movie posters, he's captivated audiences on stage and screen. But it's not just the frame that makes him stand out, it's the presence. In shows like Glee and American Horror Story, he carries confidence like armor. And off stage, he's just as fearless. Cheyenne has lived openly, unapologetically gay throughout his career, becoming a role model without trying to be one. His look says leading man, his voice says Broadway, his soul says truth, and the combination? Undeniable. Cheyenne isn't just another muscular man in Hollywood, he's proof that strength and vulnerability can coexist. And in his case, they look damn good doing it. Victor Turpin may not be a household name, but the second he steps on screen, he makes sure you don't forget him. His physique is jaw-dropping, chest broad, arms defined, waist carved, but it's the way he holds himself that really draws you in. There's a smolder in his eyes, a quiet fire beneath the surface. Known for his work in shades of blue and green light, Victor has that rare blend of physical dominance and emotional depth. Openly gay, he embraces both his masculinity and his softness, and when the world tried to box him in, he chose instead to flex on his own terms. Victor isn't just strong, he's sharp, and in a town obsessed with fame, he's built something even better: respect. Ben Cohen didn't come from Hollywood, but he conquered its heart all the same. A former professional rugby player turned LGBTQ+ icon, Ben brought his powerhouse physique and bold energy from the field to the public eye. With shoulders like boulders and a chest like a fortress, he's the definition of brute strength. But what sets him apart is his heart. Straight but deeply allied with the gay community, Ben launched the Ben Cohen Stand-Up Foundation, fighting bullying and promoting equality. He used his platform and his body not just to pose, but to protect. Ben may be built like a warrior, but he carries himself like a guardian. He doesn't just look strong, he fights for those who need strength the most. There's a quiet intensity in Charlie Carver that makes you lean in. His features are sharp, his physique owned, and his eyes focused, thoughtful, like he's carrying something deeper. Famous for twin roles in Teen Wolf and Desperate Housewives, Charlie evolved from the boy next door into a man of substance and style. When he came out, it wasn't for applause, it was for truth, and it showed. He's since become an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ+ visibility in film and television, but he hasn't sacrificed sex appeal along the way. With his compact athletic build and confident stance, Charlie embodies a newer kind of gay masculinity, smart, strong, and sharply dressed. He's not just part of the conversation, he's shaping it. Before the world saw her truth, Tommy Dorfman spent years commanding attention as a striking, androgynous figure in Hollywood. With a lean frame, piercing features, and a presence that felt both delicate and dangerous, Tommy's early career blurred lines and opened minds. Though now identifying as a trans woman, during the peak of her acting rise in 13 Reasons Why, she embodied a version of gay male beauty that challenged norms. Her body was toned, poised, and carried like a sculpture, strong yet vulnerable. And her willingness to evolve in public, to walk through the fire of self-discovery under a spotlight, makes her journey unforgettable. Tommy's story reminds us that identity is layered, and that the path to authenticity often begins with courage, and a body brave enough to hold it all. Ricky Martin isn't just a pop icon. He's a revolution in motion. With hips that made history and a body that redefined sex appeal for an entire generation, he took Latin heat global. But behind the charisma and choreography was a man carrying a heavy silence. When he finally came out, the world didn't turn its back. It leaned in closer. Ricky's transformation from closeted superstar to proud advocate was nothing short of powerful. His body remained flawless, but his spirit became freer, brighter, bolder. He showed that strength doesn't mean staying silent. It means owning your truth no matter the cost. Ricky Martin didn't just live La Vida Loca. He lived it loud, ripped, and radiant. Olympian, heartthrob, fighter, Gus Kenworthy skied down icy slopes at breakneck speed, all while carrying a secret on his back. His athletic build wasn't just for the cameras. It was carved by years of grit, pain, and perseverance. After winning silver at the Sochi Winter Olympics, he shocked the world, not with his performance, but with his courage. He came out, not as a footnote, but as a headline. And in doing so, he became the first openly gay extreme sports athlete in American history. Gus brought visibility to spaces that rarely welcome difference, and did it with abs, a smirk, and the heart of a lion. He's not just strong, he's trailblazing. If you don't know the name Anderson Davis, you've definitely seen the face and the torso. He's the kind of model who doesn't need to pose. His natural stance says it all. Confident, masculine, and impossibly chiseled. From Calvin Klein campaigns to steamy commercials, Anderson brought the kind of gay-coded allure that made both men and women do a double take. Though private about his personal life, his visibility in queer spaces and media has long whispered a story louder than words. His physique may have sold products, but his image gave countless viewers permission to admire male beauty unapologetically. Anderson Davis might not shout his truth, but sometimes a look says more than a label ever could. Chris Salvatore is the kind of man who looks like he was born under a spotlight. With soulful eyes, model-perfect features, and a body built like a pop dream, he made waves in queer cinema and music alike. Best known for the Eating Out film series, Chris brought a romantic, sexy, and proudly gay energy to roles that were once hidden behind innuendo. Off-screen, his advocacy is just as beautiful. Openly gay, deeply compassionate, and a fierce supporter of LGBTQ+ rights, Chris proves that strength isn't always loud. It's consistent, caring, and confident. Whether singing a ballad or flexing for the camera, he reminds the world that gay men can be both soft and sculpted. And that combination? Absolutely magnetic. Joey Gonzalez is the definition of discipline in motion. As the CEO of Equinox, one of the world's most elite fitness brands, he didn't just talk the talk, he lived it. With a body built like a statue and a presence that commands boardrooms as easily as it does gyms, Joey brings alpha energy without losing his authenticity. Openly gay, proudly out, and always pushing for representation in wellness spaces, he's more than just a businessman, he's a blueprint. Joey shows that success, strength, and sexuality can thrive together without compromise. He didn't have to shed his identity to lead, he leaned into it. And in doing so, he made the fitness world look a whole lot more fierce. Tom Hardy walks the line between brute force and brooding mystery. With roles in The Dark Knight Rises, Mad Max, and Venom, he's built a career on intensity, both emotional and physical. His body, rugged. His stare, dangerous. His vibe, addictive. Though Hardy has kept his personal life largely under wraps, past comments have sparked ongoing curiosity about his sexuality. He once admitted to experimentation, though later clarified. Still, the rumor mill never stopped spinning. But speculation aside, Tom Hardy's appeal transcends labels. He embodies a masculinity that feels raw, layered, and darkly seductive. Whether gay, straight, or somewhere in between, he remains one of Hollywood's most powerful enigmas. Zac Efron grew up on screen, and his abs grew with him. From High School Musical heartthrob to the shredded lifeguard in Baywatch, he's been the poster boy for physical perfection for over a decade. But it's not just the muscles that keep fans hooked, it's the energy. Playful, open, and always a bit flirty, Zac has embraced queer-coded roles and LGBTQ+ fan bases without hesitation. He's never publicly addressed the rumors that follow him, and maybe he doesn't need to. Because in every wink, in every flex, in every shirtless beach scene, Zac Efron becomes something more than a teen idol. He becomes a symbol of fluid, fearless charisma. Labels can wait. The appeal, instant. Shawn Mendes lives at the crossroads of beauty and vulnerability. With a voice that melts and a body that's quietly sculpted, he's captivated millions without ever shouting for attention. His arms are strong, but never overbearing. His look, sensitive, yet sharp. Despite years of rumors about his sexuality, Shawn has consistently handled the speculation with grace, empathy, and a willingness to challenge toxic masculinity. He may never label himself, and that's okay. Because the strength he shows by simply being open, kind, and real is more impactful than any headline. Shawn Mendes may not claim a flag, but he's waved more hearts than most pop stars ever could. Henry Cavill is Superman in more ways than one. His jawline looks carved from granite, and his chest could double as a shield. Whether donning a cape or wielding a sword in The Witcher, he embodies classic, almost mythical masculinity. But with that much perfection comes curiosity. Rumors about his sexuality have followed him quietly for years, often fueled by his private personal life and ultra-groomed image. He's never addressed them, and honestly, he doesn't have to. Henry's strength lies in how he commands attention without effort. Gay or not, he's the kind of man who makes you believe in legends because he looks like one. And that kind of power doesn't need explaining. Channing Tatum isn't just muscle, he's movement. With a dancer's rhythm and a fighter's build, he brought raw magnetism to roles in Step Up, Magic Mike, and Foxcatcher. His body tells a story of agility and strength, of hours spent training and years spent owning the screen. He's played queer-coded characters and worked in gay-friendly films without hesitation, leading some to wonder about his own orientation. Though he's never claimed a label, his comfort with fluidity makes him an unexpected ally. Channing doesn't just perform masculinity, he reshapes it, because in every roll of the hips and every punch thrown, he shows us that confidence isn't about how loud you are, it's about how free. When Chris Hemsworth steps into a frame, everything else fades. Towering, muscular, and seemingly forged by Norse gods themselves, he became the ultimate modern superhero. But beneath the hammer of Thor lies a surprising gentleness. Though happily married to Elsa Pataki, Chris has often been embraced by LGBTQ+ fans for his open-mindedness, body-positive attitude, and appearances on queer media platforms. Some whispers about his sexuality have lingered, sparked by his comfort with fluid roles and shirtless charm, but they're never confirmed nor denied. Because Chris doesn't need to defend masculinity, he just embodies it, with softness, humor, and the kind of confidence that needs no explanation. God of Thunder? Absolutely. But also God of Hearts. Kit Harington made hearts stop as Jon Snow, but his appeal didn't end at Game of Thrones. With a lean, muscular frame and eyes that speak volumes, Kit carries a mix of mystery and vulnerability that transcends roles. Though married to co-star Rose Leslie, Kit has graced the covers of queer magazines, worn gender-fluid fashion, and spoken about dismantling toxic masculinity. These choices have stirred speculation, but they've also earned him admiration. Because masculinity doesn't look one way anymore, and Kit proves it every time he walks a red carpet in something bold, brooding, and unmistakably him. He's not just the king in the North. He's a quiet force in a changing world. Taylor Lautner rose to fame with one of the most talked-about physiques in movie history. As Jacob Black in Twilight, he turned werewolf abs into a cultural moment. But beyond the fanfare, Taylor kept his personal life largely out of the spotlight. That silence sparked years of speculation, with fans wondering if the actor's charm extended beyond Team Edward versus Team Jacob. Despite the rumors, Taylor stayed focused on fitness, film, and his own peace of mind. Today, he remains a symbol of teenage fantasy grown into adult strength. Whether gay, straight, or something in between, Taylor Lautner gave an entire generation permission to admire male beauty out loud. Harry Styles doesn't walk. He floats. With a lithe frame, confident fashion, and a smile that disarms, he's more than a pop star. He's a movement. Known for breaking gender norms and flirting with ambiguity, Harry has never labeled himself despite years of curiosity about his sexuality. But maybe that's the point. His openness to expression, paired with his sensual performances and effortless style, speaks louder than any declaration. Whether shirtless on stage or strutting in pearls, Harry Styles invites the world to see masculinity in a new light. Soft, sexy, and limitless. He may not say much, but his image whispers to everyone, especially those who've longed to be free. Cody Christian is the kind of actor who surprises you. You expect the looks, he has them in spades. Sharp jaw, steely gaze, and a gym-crafted body that feels ready for combat or couture. But then he brings emotional depth, sensitivity, and moments of vulnerability that crack the surface. In Teen Wolf and All-American, he played roles that flirted with queerness and fans noticed. He's never addressed the whispers, but his comfort in those spaces and his openness to fluid performance earned him a loyal LGBTQ+ following. Cody doesn't scream for attention. He just shows up, looks devastating, and lets the audience do the wondering. Nick Jonas was never just a boy band star, he was the star. When he broke out of the Jonas Brothers mold, he didn't just launch a solo career, he launched a new image. Ripped, ripped, ripped again. From roles in Kingdom to thirst trap selfies, he embraced the gym, the gaze, and the fantasy. He played gay characters with nuance and ease and openly engaged his queer fanbase with respect, not fear. Naturally, rumors followed, but Nick stayed gracious. He doesn't need a label to know who he is or what his presence means. He's not teasing. He's just living and doing it damn well. There's a quiet burn to Austin Butler, a slow simmer of confidence, mystery, and smoldering looks. When he transformed into Elvis, he didn't just embody the icon's voice, he inherited his sensuality. With a lean, toned body and piercing blue eyes, Austin became an overnight obsession. He's played romantic leads, shared magnetic moments with male co-stars, and embraced fashion that toes the line between classic and queer. Though never publicly linked to men, his energy suggests a kind of openness that doesn't need clarification. He's not just acting, he's seducing. And audiences, they're not resisting. Darren Criss made history playing Blaine in Glee, delivering one of TV's most beloved gay romances. With a voice like silk and a face made for fan fiction, he became a gay icon, without actually identifying as gay. His roles, his respect for the community, and his easy comfort in queer spaces led many to speculate about his own sexuality. But Darren has always been clear. He's a straight man who sees no limits in expression, and that's its own kind of power. He's not afraid to sing, dance, and wear his heart and eyeliner on his sleeve. And in a world that demands labels, Darren just offers love. Jared Leto is fluidity incarnate. From the runway to the stage to the silver screen, he's reinvented himself more times than Hollywood can count. With a slim, athletic build and androgynous charm, Jared teeters between masculine and feminine like it's second nature. His roles, like Rayon in Dallas Buyers Club, and his flamboyant persona have made him a permanent fixture in LGBTQ+ discourse. He's never confirmed any label, and probably never will, because Jared doesn't believe in boxes. He lives in the blur, and somehow that only makes him sharper. Noah Centineo became the internet's boyfriend almost overnight. With sleepy eyes, a surfer's grin, and a build that shifted from boyish to beast mode, he captured hearts across every gender. He's played sweet, sensitive boys and sexy, shirtless bad boys, often in the same scene. His chemistry with male co-stars and openness to queer roles has fueled plenty of buzz, though he's never labeled himself. Still, there's something about Noah that feels accessible, like he gets it, like he sees you. And when he flashes that smirk, flexes that chest, or leans into a role with unspoken tension, he's not just acting, he's letting you dream. Strength isn't just about size. It's not just the muscles, the stares, or the shirtless scenes. It's about presence. It's about power that doesn't need to shout. These men, open or rumored, remind us that attraction isn't limited by labels, and masculinity isn't a single story. So whether they flexed on screen or simply dared to be seen, they didn't just show off their bodies. They showed us what strength can look like when it's real.